Good morning, this is Kris Shoemaker, also known as Yehudah ben Shomeyr, and you're listening to Coffee with Kris, the time of the day where we share a cup of coffee and share a bit of the Word of God. Thank you so much for joining me on this Sunday morning for a hot cup of coffee and a hot cup of the Word of God. It's a new week, therefore it's a new Torah portion. It's Vaera, which means I appeared, and it's taken from Exodus chapter 6, verse 2, going all the way to chapter 9, verse 35. Today's portion is chapter 6, verses 2 through 13. So let's jump right in. So it says, "Therefore you are to say to Bnei Israel," that is the children of Israel, "I am Adonai." More specifically, I am Yahweh. God is giving his personal name here. And he says, "And I will bring you out from under the burden of the Egyptians. I will deliver you from their bondage, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments. I will take you to myself as a people, and I will be your God. You know that I am Adonai your God, who brought you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. So I will bring you into a land that I swore to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, and to give it to you as an inheritance. I am Adonai. I am Yahweh." So how does God establish his name? How does God establish his reputation? He just spelled out how he did that in the verses that we just read. He says, number one, he says, "I will free you from slavery." What does Yahweh mean? What does my name mean? What is my reputation? Number one, I will free you from slavery. Number two, I will rescue you from oppression. Number three, I will redeem you with strength. Number four, I will adopt you as my own. Number five, I will give you a home. In these 5 ways, where Yahweh said, "I will do such and such," he establishes his name. He establishes the meaning of his name. He establishes the reputation of his name. So whenever the children of Israel heard the name Yahweh, they remembered that he was the deliverer of bondage, that he was the rescuer from oppression, that he was the redeemer that redeemed with strength, that he was father because he adopted them, that he gave them a place to live, a home. They no longer had to be vagabonds and wanderers. And so that's what the name Yahweh means to the children of Israel. Now we have a name. And when somebody says our name, it conjures up a thought. It conjures up a feeling. It conjures up basically the encapsulation of what someone believes about us. So when somebody says your name, how do you think other people feel about you? How do you think other people think about you? Sometimes, I got a buddy, he's really funny, Mike Chase. And every time somebody says Mike Chase, they probably think, "Oh, wow, he's a real funny guy. I love to hear his stories." But, what if they say your name and they think, "Oh, well, that person's just a religious snob. That person's just an aloof hypocrite." Or they say your name, "Oh, well, that person, is such a downer. Every time I'm around that person, they always suck me dry and bring me down." What do people feel and think? And what's the overall view when somebody hears your name? Our name is our reputation. And if you don't have a name, you have nothing in this life. When we act like Messiah and we walk in the footsteps of Yeshua, our Messiah, by walking and following in the Torah, and then people hear our name, they maybe unconsciously will think of Messiah. Because if we walk in his footsteps and carry out the attributes of Messiah in our daily lives, we walk like him, talk like him, live like him, love like him, serve like him, then people are going to connect the two. And that was the most humbling experience I had when I worked at a juvenile detention center. We had to do a safe hold. This girl was hurting herself and hurting others, and we had to put her in a safe hold, and she was kicking and biting everybody but me. And she looked at me and she says, "I know you're only doing this because you have to." And then she looked at me really strange. She says, "Are you Jesus Christ?" And I almost started bawling right there. I said, "No, honey, I'm not, but I know him." She saw, when she heard my name and she saw me, she saw Jesus Christ in me. May it be so for every single listener. Guys, thanks so much for listening. Go out there and have a great day. Shalom and God bless.